Welcome to part 4 of my summer road trip through Idaho, Oregon, and California. Now, this is the third city I'm covering, and it's Grants Pass. What an amazing spot. It is right along the Rogue River, and everything is about the water there. And it was so wonderful. I can't wait to share with you about the trip. I'm gonna go through 3 days of thrifting, eating, rafting, and speedboating. Stay tuned. We had just been to Crater Lake and we continued down until we got to Grants Pass. We picked up some dinner and headed to our Airbnb. It was hands down the best Airbnb we've ever stayed at. On the first morning, I had a couple of bakeries that I wanted to try. 2 in particular that boasted the best cinnamon rolls. First, I went to Babe's Bakery. Really cute. They had an amazing selection of cheesecakes and cupcakes and like slab pies cut into squares. They make their own bagels, croissants. They have stuffed croissants with eggs and bacon and ham, and they have them stuffed with jam. There was just so much to choose from. But I was there for the cinnamon rolls. So I picked up one of their frosted cinnamon rolls, a piece of chocolate peanut butter pie, and a piece of coconut cream pie. Next, I headed over to the Powderhorn Cafe, a cute little spot right in the downtown area, and their pies looked delicious. I grabbed one of their cinnamon rolls and headed back to the B&B. This was my view as I sat out eating 2 of the largest cinnamon rolls I've ever seen. They were as big as my outstretched hand, actually a little larger. I could barely hold them. The main difference between these 2 is the one from Babe's has a traditional cream cheese frosting, and the one from Powderhorn has more of a caramelized like sugar butter icing, a lot thinner, more of a glaze. They were both amazing, but I am a cream cheese frosting gal, so I preferred the one from Babe's a little bit more. I also tried a bite of the peanut butter chocolate pie and the coconut cream, both excellent. And then I put those away and ate out of those a little bit each day while we were there. We spent the morning hanging out on the property of the Airbnb. This is right on the Rogue River. It is a beautiful home, and above the garage, they have a studio apartment, which is where we stayed. The grounds are gorgeous. There's a beautiful outdoor fireplace and seating area. There is a spa, a lap pool, and of course the river right there. There's a dock with chairs, so we sat down there every morning. It was just beautiful. Now my good friend Stacy lives in the area, so we met up for lunch and for thrifting. We headed back to the downtown to Dash Bakery. In this gorgeous brick building, they make their bagels in-house, and we had a sandwich that was so good. I think it was on a jalapeno cheddar bagel, if I remember correctly. It was stacked high with turkey and cheese and bacon and tomato and avocado. I also got a lemon cheesecake bar with blueberries, tangy lemon flavor, absolutely delicious. There were several thrift stores within walking distance, so it was really fun to walk downtown. Our first stop was Second Chance Thrift Store, and they had some beautiful blue and white dishes, including this collection from the Netherlands and milk glass, a great variety. And underneath this little purple plate, I spotted the blue and white transferware. Beautiful. I also loved this creamer and sugar bowl. There was so much to look at and beautiful antiques. This teacup was very unusual, really pretty, and some cute tins. They had a great selection. This chip and dip basket was really cute, very well made. They had a ton of fabric. It was really nicely displayed, and it was easy to see all the variety. I found this red and white pattern that I loved. It was a large sheet, a Currier and Ives pie tin. They also had a great clothing selection. So I picked up 2 of these plates. They are the same, but I'm adding them to my collection of everyday dishes, just different blue and white transferware that I have. These are Merry England, Cheshire, Bramlin Hall, probably the finest surviving example of a half-timbered Tudor manor house. These were $5 each, which is half of what I normally find them for. I also found this sheet and it's already been cut into. If you saw my summer front porch when I was prepping for 4th of July, I used this as one of my main fabrics to make my 4th of July banner that is up on my front porch. I'll leave a link to that video below if you want to take a look. But such a great price to buy a king size sheet. This is so much fabric and it's just the cheapest way to do it. Stacy took me on a beautiful drive towards Medford. She lives in Jacksonville, just outside of Medford, and we went kind of this back way. I can't remember the area. I will probably put it on the screen below, but beautiful countryside. When we got to Jacksonville, it is such a tiny town, so cute. There are several historical buildings. We stopped and grabbed iced tea. Stacy said people will volunteer to just dress up in period costume, hang out in the town, and talk with visitors about the history of the town. It just sounds so quaint and sweet. Hopeful Secondhand was a darling thrift store in Medford, but we didn't find anything on this visit. It is on the small side, but it really had some cute stuff. Next was Salvation Army, and this store was giant. I had a white blanket on my list, and I looked at this one for a while. Good price, but it just wasn't quite right. They had a great selection of dishes, of knickknacks, 2 beautiful cake pans here. I did like this little tin. I thought it was pretty cute and a really great price. And I loved these baskets. It was a set of 2 for $15, but I only wanted the large one and they wouldn't split the set, so I decided to pass. The benefit of large thrift stores is they tend to have furniture, and this one had a lot of really nice choices. Some beautiful chairs. Blue's my color, so that always attracts me. I thought these with the velvet seat were so pretty. Well, this little guy is the only thing I ended up getting, and for $2, I just love it. It's almost exactly like the larger one that I have on my front porch right now, so I will have a little set. Now we did go into Goodwill in both Grants Pass and Medford, and both of the stores were very large, well organized, neat and clean, and they had a great variety, but I didn't purchase anything from either one. I thought this was so cute, but $25? Also, does anyone know what this is? Day 2, after 3 people recommended that we do the jet boats, we decided to go for it. We made our reservation and went down to their location, and we were able to check out their gift shop before walking down a beautiful area near the river. It's right below a restaurant there that looked really good. We thought maybe we'd check into it for dinner that evening. But it was a really easy process. Our captain was so knowledgeable and was able to tell us about all of the different animals, birds we saw, even the homes. There are beautiful houses all along the way. So much of the drive was at a slow pace. We saw an eagle, which is the first time I have seen a bald eagle in person, and it was amazing. So, so beautiful. Then we saw an osprey nest, and you could see her in the nest, and you could see her little babies popping their heads up, even though it was so high in the air. We also saw a blue heron. Actually, we saw 3 blue heron throughout the morning. Now, the fun thing about this company is that they like to go fast. So we went pretty fast on this boat, and Kevin and I loved it. We both grew up on lakes, water skiing with jet boats, and we were just in our element. The really fun part, which we did several times on the trip, the captain would do a full 360, really tight turn when we were at full speed, and water went everywhere. We got soaked, but it was so much fun. Straight from there to Rogue Rafting Company. They have a little shop upriver. We met at the appointed time. We all piled into 2 vans. The rafts were stacked up in the back on a trailer, and we headed upriver. This was a very mellow trip. It was only 3 hours, and it was class 1 to 4. but very limited for. So since we had never done whitewater rafting, we thought this was a good starting point. I was a little nervous about it, but it ended up being such a great trip. The 4 rapids actually were very short, just enough to put the fear of God in you and leave you wanting a little more. There were 6 of us per raft, plus the guide in the back. And during these beautiful slow spots on the river, she was training us and instructing us how to row on command and what to do when we got to the rapids. We were seated in the front and I was in the spot for the lead rower, so everyone had to follow me. Kevin was on the right next to me and he took the brunt of the water for sure. There were times we hit water and I got splashed, he got drenched. We would absolutely do this again. That night, we did go back to the restaurant where we did the Jetboat, and it's called River's Edge, a beautiful steakhouse with 3 tiers, outdoor seating. Highly recommend that if you can do it. Overlooking the river, just gorgeous. I have to say that my meal was completely perfect, start to finish. Kevin and I shared a salad, and then I had a beautiful steak. It was prepared perfectly for me. Parmesan toasted potatoes, asparagus, and then the cherry on top, one of my favorite desserts, creme brulee. Oh, and my steak had a balsamic red wine reduction that was incredible. After we ate, we needed to walk. So we were able to walk across a bridge, around a park, across another very famous bridge in Grants Pass. I'll put the name down below. And back to where our car was. Our last morning, we went back down to sit at the river as we had done the previous 2 mornings. On our way out of town, we went to Lulu's, and this was in the downtown area, and what a great restaurant. It definitely has a French influence, like a little cafe. We sat outside on the sidewalk, and we started with beignets. These were so delicious. I love beignets, but they can be very hard to find. And these came with lemon curd, whipped cream, and a vanilla custard. Amazing. I didn't think that could be beat, but I had the croque madame, which typically is a ham and gruyere, kind of grilled cheese sandwich with bechamel and an egg on top. Well, in this case, at Lulu's, instead of the bechamel, they did hollandaise sauce, and it was delicious. The way they grilled the bread, it was perfection. It was probably the best breakfast I had on the entire trip. As we were heading out of town, I wanted to hit one more thrift store that I had read about, and it was the Humane Society. And typically, when I have seen a Humane Society thrift store, they're pretty good. They had some beautiful vintage books. I already have this one. This Simple Life. I just love the title. And this blue one. Look at this cover. Oh, so pretty. $8 is a pretty good price for a vintage book. I really love quilts, and this one was beautiful. I also enjoy vintage kitchen supplies, cooking items. They had a lot to look at, so many cute things. An old egg separator, really cute. And I found an old camera, a Kodak, so cool. Just so much to look at. This vintage tape dispenser was really cute. And this I fell in love with, honestly. This little match holder to hang at the fireplace with some gilded edges, the picture of the deer. The only problem was it was $30. And I had just spent that same amount on a picture frame when I was in Bend. And that was a huge splurge for me, and I just thought I can't do it again. But oh goodness, was it pretty. Just a gorgeous print of these hawks. Cute picnic basket. They had so many vintage toys that were just fun to look at. Another bird print. This was another set of 2. Really lovely. This Star Wars bedspread was such a find, and for only $20. I called my daughter and she wanted it for my grandson. Well, one of the things that I grabbed is this top. and I just love it. I love gingham, and it's a great color for summer, and it's really comfortable. Next, I spotted these books, and you saw the one that I already owned, but there was a stack of 3, The Simple Life, which is just such a precious book. There's no copyright, but it was given in 1909, and it was $4. It's in very good condition. And this beautiful blue book, the embossing on this is just gorgeous. Dickens' Child's Story. And this was $8, and the copyright is 1901. I did grab the Kodak camera. This to me is a work of art. I don't know how old this is. Has anyone seen one like this? It was the price tag that got me, $6. Oh, in this gorgeous leather case, and it is so beautiful. I just love to have things like this. I will probably put it up in one of the guest rooms or on my bookcase. And it's fun for me to just imagine who owned this and probably took so many amazing pictures of their family and friends and maybe landscapes, maybe their travel adventures. I thought this was a steal. I saved the best for last. Oh my goodness, I think this is just so beautiful. It was a set of 2, and at first she did not want to split the set, but finally agreed. The thing that makes this even more special is that this is of a broad-winged hawk, and in our trip to Bend, going to the High Desert Museum, if you caught the last video, we saw all kinds of hawks and falcons, and they flew right over our heads. So this print is really going to remind me so much of this wonderful trip and the beautiful birds that we saw. When we left the thrift store, we headed straight for the California redwoods. I will cover that and my thrifting adventures through California down to Santa Rosa in the next video. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to be alerted when my next videos come up. And if you enjoyed today's video, please hit that thumbs up button. It was so great to have you today on The Peaceful Home. Have an amazing day.